guys will do this one item, don't even waste words for
George,
He's got some, retired. And that's why he's got this.
Got it. But he's,
He comes to everything, yeah.
he's good, yeah.
Hi guys,
Hello.
I'm gonna call to order, so roll call please.
Mrs. Petropolis.
Here.
Mrs. Levitt.
Here.
Mrs. Grove.
Here.
Mrs. Lamel.
Here.
Mrs. Perkin.
Here.
Mr. Medina.
Here.
And Mrs. Schroeder, absent.
Okay, so we're going to do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And introduction of our guests?
Yes, so we have the whole admin team here, minus Fran, who was not able to make it. And then we have Maria Grossi from the Eisenhower Cooperative, because you'll see we have our budget hearing for the Eisenhower Cooperative, because we're the financial agent in Chicago Ridge for that, something we do.
All right, so 2.0 Eisenhower Cooperative. Do the public
Yep.
hearing. Okay, so agenda item 2.1, public hearing to approve the fiscal year 26 Eisenhower Cooperative budget. I'm opening the hearing at 6:32 p.m. Is there anyone who would like to address the board regarding the Eisenhower Cooperative budget for fiscal year 26? I ask again, is there anyone who would like to address the board regarding the Eisenhower Cooperative for the fiscal year 26 budget? Final request, is there anyone who would like to address the board regarding the fiscal year 26 Eisenhower Cooperative budget? Okay, the hearing is now closed at 6:32 p.m. All right, so 2.2. Potential board action to approve the Eisenhower Cooperative fiscal year 26 budget.
I make a motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Levitt.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamel.
Aye.
Mrs. Perkin.
Aye.
Mrs. Petropolis.
Aye, sorry.
And before we move on, and Maria, thanks for being here. As you know, we did pay off our portion of the building project well in advance, which is nice to kind of have that cleared from our own budget. We already have ground broken, and I'll share some pictures out with you in the next week of where we're at for the addition of all the classrooms that will hopefully continue to service not only the students in our district, but the other districts that make up the cooperative. So, Maria, I know you want to stay all night, but thank you for coming. I hope you have a good night. Yep.
Thank you. Okay, 3.0, approval of the consent agenda. Better read all this.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Mrs. Perkin.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Levitt.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamel.
Aye.
Mrs. Petropolis.
Aye. 4.0 superintendent's report.
All right, well, welcome back. I think it's been like 6 weeks, but it feels a lot longer than that. So I'm very excited to have everyone back. Very excited for school to be starting. It seems like it's been a pretty lengthy summer. I know a lot of staff wouldn't say that, but and I think part of it, we haven't had any huge building projects that we're watching the time. So it seems like everyone's been gone. So we're happy to have everybody back. I reached out to the PTA this week. We have 3 new board members, one returning. Ms. Garcia will continue to be the vice president. Ms. Lily Sanchez is president. They're going to be submitting the events they're hoping to have. But it's nice we have a full board, and I know they want to continue a lot of the things that have gone on, but also add a few different ones. So we're very excited for that. Vacant positions and possible staffing needs. We still have some staffing things we are trying to fill, specifically a special education teacher at Finley. We've had someone resign and head to high school. So that is a position we thought we had filled back in May, but we did not. We are also looking for an EL teacher at Lawn, as well as paras. I think I interviewed 5 paras alone yesterday. Unfortunately, right now, the majority are still contractual. I'm hopeful that after we approve a contract, that we will see that change a little bit. But what we're seeing, there's been some resignations you'll see from paras. who were contractual before that we're filling. But we're also seeing a lot of students move in who already have an IEP with a para on there. And legally we have to fulfill that. So those are things we're kind of working through right now. But we have on Thursday and Friday our new Teacher Institute days, our 2-day orientation, which we love. We moved it to 2 days, and this will be our 3rd year with 2 days. This will be our 2nd year. Julie Bazian will give everyone the bus tour of the community. We take the yellow bus around. This will be the 2nd year. I was going to do it, but I know it somewhat well, but why not pick someone who's been.
Why not pick the Ridge Rat?
Yes.
Neighbor.
I kind of was in there taking the tour anyways
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah, I did nothing. I just said, yep,
And it was
that's right.
really hot.
Yeah, so we picked it up like real early in the morning, so we don't scare
Everybody
them
was
away. And then in the afternoon of the 2nd day, their mentors will join them, and then they get to have lunch, paid for by the district, and then they spend the afternoon with their mentors in their classroom. So very excited, and can't wait to tell you kind of how those new staff members are doing. We have open house Monday and Tuesday already. Open house on Monday is going to be at Ridge Central and at Ridge Lawn from 6:30 to 8, and then Tuesday is over at Finney. We flip flop that every year. And as I did share out, it was different in the packet, but everything else I sent you, everything the parent says it has been correct. So we have our mentor meetings, or not our mentor, our new staff with their mentors this Thursday and Friday. Then we have our opening institute days for all of our staff Monday and Tuesday of next week. And I always give my opening day address on that Monday. I try not to make it too long because many of you have sat through those. And but very excited to kind of share out our theme, which this year you will see on your nice coaster. We are looking to ignite purpose, passion, and positivity this year. And I really like the graphics, and Megan and Isabel worked pretty hard on coming up with a graphic. At one point, I think we had like books burning, unfortunately, the way things were placed. So we're very happy with how they turned out. I think this looks a lot better. And then after I give my opening day address, then they're at their buildings the rest of the day. So the administrators leave things, they have time to work on things. And then on Tuesday, we are having Monica Genta come out to present to us, titled Celebrating 180 Days of Awesome. She is motivational. I think she, from what I heard, is really gonna get the teachers where they need to hear things those first couple days. And she will talk a little bit about the purpose, passion, and positivity. And I want to thank Joy. I know she had been out there a couple years ago in her district, and
Yeah, she's really amazing.
Kim recommended, and so we kind of looked her up, and we agree. She looks like she's gonna knock it out of the park. So, and then they have other professional development. They have I know Megan's gonna talk a little bit more about the PD on that day when it's her turn. So, any questions? We obviously have a lot going on before kids even come next Thursday. So. 4.5 is Diopath. We've used Diopath for a very long time. We have a regular contract on here that needs to be approved just for our normal things that we approve every year. But Gino came to us a couple weeks ago with something that's pretty important. It's looking to approve a contract for what they call managed detection and response. One of the things we keep hearing more and more from our insurance company, from other districts, is just people coming in, especially with like ransomware. It's becoming more and more prevalent. You don't usually hear about it very often because districts keep it quiet. You don't want to know if they paid the ransom because that would be more people who are trying to do it. So this is something that would watch our system 24/7.
So quiet, I've never heard of it.
Ransomware?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I can tell you one district that we butt up against. An unbelievable sum a couple years ago because they had every piece of data the district had and locked them completely out of it.
So for those of us who are like a 4-year-old who don't know what that means, it's they steal your info and then
And then they hold it ransom.
blackmail you.
Yes, yes. And we have insurance for it. We've actually had to up that many times. But also nothing guarantees once you pay it that they will, so they can tell you all they want. And usually they will give it back, because what are they gonna do with it? But it doesn't happen. And it could be as simple as we talk all the time, we send stuff out to our staff, like, don't click that link on that suspicious email, because that is what they use to then like get in your system. They might even not know for weeks or months, and they're in there filtering everything. So this is something that watches it 24/7, and as soon as something looks suspicious, they have a team that goes in and like stops it. So if they're going in on a Sunday when we're not paying attention, that's what that's there for. And it's not cheap. It's I think little over 37,000 for the year. But I can't share what the other districts have paid, but it is unbelievable amount compared to that. So we do think in this day and age, unfortunately, that's something we need to kind of beef up a little bit. So.
Guess I'm naive. Am I the only one who didn't know what that was? I had never, but I guess it's a good thing. Right?
Yes, yeah. Just don't click those emails.
You obviously know.
At least in my district, they actually do fake phishing scams, so like.
Yes,
more
yep,
like,
we-
yeah,
we-
you clicked it, you're doing this to make sure.
Yeah, they do that, yeah.
Well, it's like, oh, no.
Then you feel bad, because you're like, okay, then you're asking your friend, Sarah, what?
No, I know that they
You know what I
can
mean?
ask themselves extremely.
Yes, they are very good at it, unfortunately. Few things from our summer update. Our focus this summer was really on facilities and the seal coating and concrete work, and then the building automation project over at Everett Central. Also, we had our painting, I'll call it our painting party with the White Sox Volunteer Corps. We had 6 volunteers from the court. We had 2 board members and 9 of our staff there. So that was my week on vacation that had been planned for years. So I really appreciate those of you who were able to be there. If you would like to go later and see some of the painting that was done, I'd be happy to show you around the building. But we really are going with like a gray look instead of just white walls, and then up higher in a lot of places it's black. And really, Jeff had come for that a while ago after we've gone to Richards so many times, and they've done such a nice job transforming that into a place with that school pride. That's what we're trying to get to for there. In terms of the seal coating and concrete work, everything is done. Ridge Lawn looks really, really nice. Ridge Central did look really nice. We had no say as when they were going to come on and tear things up from Nicor. We couldn't wait because they just did it last week. It never would have been done. So we're hoping it will be cleaned up well. But that's something we knew we'd have to deal with. And we couldn't put it off any longer. And then the rooftop units, they're in. There's air conditioning in the building. They're still working on the automation piece. There's training later this week. A lot of it is very similar to our own system, so we don't think it will be too big of a learning curve. But it's been a pretty smooth summer in terms of the projects. I do not have any others, so I'm going to turn it over to Megan.
Sure, so 5.1, I also have a summer recap. The first topic is about summer school. I just wanted to share with the board the final attendance numbers. This year, for the 13 days of summer school, we had an overall attendance of 73%, which is 8% lower than last year. We saw a lower enrollment overall and lower attendance from our extended school year kindergarten and first grade classrooms. That was only at 60% attendance. Second through fifth grade had higher enrollment and higher attendance at between 70 to 80%. And then even that group that we transitioned 6-8, we put them together with 2 co-teachers. We upped their enrollment class size. So they had 16 students and their average attendance was actually the highest. Once again, second year in a row, at 89%. The last day they had full attendance, which is just wonderful to hear. We do every year send out a survey to those summer school staff members. So we gather that, and then Dr. Thorns and I will look at that, the results of that, and then start thinking about the future of summer school. The teachers did want to, in the survey, thank the administrative team for being a part of summer school, getting into the classrooms, being visible. So I wanted to extend that to the admin team here today. The second summer recap is really about professional development. So what we try to do every summer is ensure that any new staff that needs foundational curriculum understanding and professional development is provided that at the start before the school year, so over the summer. So we did send any kindergarten through third grade new staff members to foundations training, which is a pretty intense, very explicit direct instruction resource for phonics. So we got that all done. Every staff member that is new went through that training. They were very excited, very eager, and we appreciate them taking a day out of their summer to attend that. We also, on Monday, had just over 30 staff members come to the district for an AI back to school, and igniting their passion through AI back to school edition. It was hosted, planned completely, and hosted by Findlay Junior High's librarian, Erin Stapleton. If you remember last school year, I had shared that she attended several classes to become a micro-credentialed AI train-the-trainer. And so she took a lot of that information and spent time over her summer building a presentation that was 3 hours long for our staff to engage in opportunities for using AI to plan, differentiate, build bulletin boards, kind of creative thinking about engaging students into the start of the school year, how to introduce themselves in different ways. So the staff learned, I think it was 5 different AI resources that they can use in their classrooms for different purposes. So we are very thankful for Erin for spending her summer doing that, presenting, then also those staff members that came in. And I'll talk a little bit about more AI in the district in the next one. 5.2, professional development for the staff for the upcoming year. So 25-26 school year. Like Dr. Thorne said, our theme this year is igniting purpose, passion, and positivity. So all of our professional development is really aligned to that. We're constantly having conversations, even our admin team, like what's the purpose of this? How can we build a passion around it? And so we will kick off the year with Monica Genta. Her presentation, her key theme is really celebrating 180 days of awesome, and it's about building joy and energy every single day, shifting from just those routines that we kind of get into in our everyday classrooms or the students get into, and making more memorable experiences, or just identifying certain experiences that we have that we can identify as awesome. This one moment, it was awesome today. And it lines, we really are aligning her big message too is also purpose, passion, and positivity. So it'll be a nice connection from day 1 institute to day 2 institute, and then throughout the year as well. We are partnering again this year with the University of Chicago and the University of Georgia with that grant. So you might remember me talking about Casper. They now received a new grant and have started a new project that builds on Casper. And it's called Learning to Lead in Math. And so the main purpose of this work is to not only improve teaching and learning in math classrooms, but the goal of this is to build the capacity of principals and teacher leaders in our buildings to be able to support team effectiveness in math classrooms. And so how do we, as leaders, support teacher leaders, and then how do teacher leaders go into grade level team meetings and ensure that we're having conversations about improving math instruction, teaching, learning, and then taking that in a job embedded implementation of that work. And there's coaching sessions. We spent the day today on our first kickoff of this work. We are back again tomorrow with another day of that work. So we're really excited because we've already spent 2 years building the foundation of this work with our teacher leaders and our administrative team. So now this is really about that job embedded, bringing it into the grade level teams and spreading this more district or building wide and the information that we've learned. We also are having Kelly Dobeck out. She, if you remember, is part of the ELA partnership that we have. She is a consultant that will be working with our district literacy leadership team, myself and the administrators, about learning about best practices, evidence-based practices in ELA. So same thing and same work that we were doing with math. We're just a little bit delayed because we just implemented the ELA resource. So we're about 4 years in math, and now we're in year 2 of ELA, but it's the same type of work. So we're excited because staff will be able to hear same common language. They'll get that same information in building teacher leaders in both of those content areas. For AI, we are rolling out a committee. We're asking staff at the first institute day to show interest in joining a committee. It will be a very short committee because we want them to come together to build guidance and expectations about AI in our district. We had heard that it is not best practice for districts to build policy around AI because it is changing. 3 months ago, it was extremely different than it is today, and in 3 months, it will be very different. And all of those districts that really jumped on it and started building policies and putting it in board policy and getting it approved, it's already out of date. So we've been told, and it's been recommended by many people, to really focus on guidance and expectations for how it can be embedded in our school systems, how our teachers can utilize it, and then how we expect our students to engage with it. So we're having someone out that is an expert in this. He'll work with our administrative team, and then we'll build that as a committee, the guidance and expectations. We then will, on the January Institute Day, share out that guidance with the staff, and then that presenter will present to the staff about how to use AI, what are the benefits, what are the precautions that staff need to take, what is the best way for students to engage with it. So we have actually, the presenter, his name is Eric Santos, and we've been recommended to bring him out by our teachers who have already started to attend things by him for several years. Our administrators have attended some things by him as well. So we're excited to listen to our staff about what they need and then bring him out for that work. And then lastly, in the professional development, we are also going to be providing staff with what we're calling mini PD sessions on instructional practices. So really honing in on those instructional practices that are cross-curricular, pre-K to 8. What are some of those practices that teachers can use in their classrooms to ensure that it's a positive learning environment, that learning is at its highest level, that students are engaged in their learning. And so I should say not every, but 3 to 4 early dismissals, these mini PDs will be presented to all of the staff. So we're hearing some common language, and it will be all around the same topics that are presented in math and in ELA and the leadership teams and things like that. So a lot of connectiveness throughout. That we're excited about. The admin team has been a part of this planning and thinking about professional development for the last year as well. So we're excited to do work as a district, but then also within the buildings and then at the grade level teams. Questions on any of that? Oh. 5.3, the assessment calendar. This is something we share out every time this year. It is in your board packet. It is just listing the dates of the benchmark and state assessments that our students either take or that the teachers assess, the students on. The dates are there. There are some to be determined because we have to wait on the state on some of those, and that will be updated and they're put in the calendar so that we're aware and can plan appropriately for all of that. And then 5.4, I do not have any others. Okay.
6.0, Chief Business Officials Report. Welcome, Ms. Charlotte.
Okay, thank you, that was perfect timing. 6.1 is the FY 26 tentative budget. All we're required to do today per Illinois School Code is to present the tentative budget to the board and our community. You'll see the first column on the left, we are going to be starting the year with just over $32 million. And then right now we're projecting an ending budget of just over $32,100,000. So right now we're looking at an increase in fund balance of about $100,000 through the year. What we're going to do over the next month, though, is, as Dr. Thorne said earlier, we're still kind of adjusting salaries. We need the SPED teacher, EL, and paraprofessionals we're filling as our students come in with IEPs. So we're going to be looking at that. And then the good news, we actually had Title III money, which is Caroline's EL money. That was actually awarded, so that we can take into account. But we still haven't received our Title II money. No one really seems very concerned. Different business managers do project it coming. The Fed said it's coming, but that I just, want to make sure we get that money as well. And so next month we'll have the formal presentation breaking down revenues, expenses, the whole spiel, when the board will be asked to approve the budget. Any questions on that? Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is a contract with E-Rate. E-Rate is a program that we participate. It's put on by the federal government, and it helps schools and libraries with internet and connectivity issues with students and families. And last year we were selected to participate. It's called the Cybersecurity Pilot Program. And it's a 3-year program, and we were awarded that in the amount of roughly $60,000. And our E-rate reimbursable rate, and that's based on our low income and demographics, is 90%. So we will be getting 90% of the invoice, we will be getting reimbursed by E-rate. And the program that Gino had selected was Go Guardian. Go Guardian is a software application that I understand that our teachers really love. And basically it's for internet security for our students. So we will have to pay the entire 3-year invoice upfront. And then from what I understand, each year we will get reimbursed the annual rate through the E-rate program. And so we'll be asking the board to approve that contract, because obviously it's well in excess of the 25,000. So that was some really good news. And then 6.3 is just housekeeping. Per Illinois School Code, we need to present our contracts over $25,000 from the previous year. So that information is in your board packet, and then we will also tomorrow post that on our district website. I do not have any other. Does anyone have any questions? I do.
The Go Guardian, who will be responsible for those alerts?
I would imagine Gino and Sam are in our tech department, but I can double check that.
As someone who uses it on a regular basis in my class, some of the most functional tools, it will alert if kids are off topic on sites. It also blocks things, but it gives teachers the capability, if they're allowing the students to use devices in class, to make them only be on maybe a quiz that they're taking, or like a specific worksheet where they can't jump off and play like cool math games or other things, or look stuff up. And the teacher can do what's called set the scene. If a kid, and the teacher basically on their screen can see what every student is doing, if they're off task, if they're just playing dino jump or whatever. So I feel like the classroom implications of it are very useful to teachers, especially I think at the higher levels if they're testing on computers or offering, you know, like a lot of nice programs have testing on computers so that it reads it to them or whatever, and it can really lock the screen so they're not looking up answers. So the reports, I feel like teachers can see it as well. It literally does like a timeline of the class period you have. So you can see every basic website the kid has accessed. And if they jumped off a page, or it'll tell you, is the kid like not doing anything, like they're just sitting there behind their screen, you know, like, but not touching it. So I think the classroom implications, it's a really useful tool for the teachers. I do know, just from things I've heard, people have been caught going on websites and there is an alert sent and then they're called down. But I think it's more so teacher like using in the classroom to gatekeep stuff.
Yeah, I guess, let me specify my question better. So if a student is sending another student an email, let's say at Finley, and in that email, they expose, you know, self-harm intent, who gets that email and how?
As a teacher would typically get that and then alert the administration.
And I didn't even know it did that at one day. Yeah. So the principals get alerts every night.
Any explicit activity comes to Emily and I directly, so any inappropriate search of any site, anything typed into a Google Doc that's pinged comes to us directly. Anything corresponding between two kiddos comes to us directly, we send it out, and then we call students down, immediately call.
Will you get those notifications after hours?
24/7, yes. Weekends, typically they come after hours.
Yeah. You never know. Good question though. Okay, so I believe that we're on to 8.1, unless there's other things going on. Alright, 8.1, potential board action to post for a first reading of the policies listed on the agenda.
Yes, so these are very, very straightforward overall. There's very little that the board actually has to decide when it comes time. And right now, it's just the first reading. I'm trying to find some spots. So the one thing that we need to look at is policy 280. And it's basically a board member oath and conduct. And it asks the board to decide if they want or not to include a particular sentence in the policy, and the sentence is, a board member who fails to abide by the oath of office or the code may be subject to action by the board, including but not limited to formal censure and or referral to the regional superintendent for removal from office under board policy 260. So the board will have to decide, we'll have to vote next week if that's something we want to include. Right now, it's not in there. If you include it, that doesn't mean you have to censure someone or you have to remove them, but it will give you that option. Because it really is a board decision. I don't really have a recommendation for this one. It's something that you'll have to decide if you want to do.
I'll make a motion.
But it would be next meeting that we would approve that. This is just the first reading.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're Megan to do the reading. Yes. Thanks, Joanne.
I'll second.
Mr. Medina. Mrs. Abuzik.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mrs. Bergen.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder. Mrs. Petrafficus.
Aye. 8.2, potential board action to approve the display of the fiscal year 26 tentative budget, excuse me. I'll make a motion.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mrs. Bergen.
Aye.
Mrs. Abuzik.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mrs. Petrafficus.
Aye. 8.3, potential board action to approve payment to Dialpath in the amount of $30,824.82 for VMware license and upgrade labor.
This is our kind of annual one for Dialpath.
Make the motion.
Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mr. Medina. Mrs. Bergen.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mrs. Abuzik.
Aye.
Mrs. Petrafficus.
Aye. 8.4, potential board action to approve service and payment to Dialpath for managed detection response in the amount of $37,736.52. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mrs. Abuzik.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mrs. Bergen.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Petrafficus.
Aye. 8.5, potential board action to approve payment to Integrated Control Technologies LLC in the amount of $260,271.90 for building control work done at Ridge Central.
And this is the third payment on the summer project for those building top units.
I'll second.
Mrs. Bergen.
Aye.
Mrs. Abuzik.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mrs. Petrafficus.
Aye. 8.6 is the potential board action to approve purchase and payment of classroom furniture for Finley Junior High in the amount of $33,280.35.
Yeah, and this is not like fun furniture. This is our enrollment keeps going up in our district. So this is just so that we can have kids with seats and desks. I did want to point out just some other enrollment numbers across the district at Ridge Central. And remember, we cap it at 28 at 3rd through 5th grade. And at Ridge Central right now, we have 27, 27, and 27 in 3 classes. In 5th grade, we have 28, 27, and 27. That's still with over a week and a half to go with registration. At Ridge Lawn, if you remember, at the end of the year, for our 2nd grade classrooms, for both schools, we dropped it down to have up to 23 kids in there. And we added a class at Ridge Lawn, and even with adding a class across the board, they are at the cap of 23, 23, 23, 23. And then in 3rd grade, remember the cap is 28, and they are at 30, 28, 28 right now. So with that, currently at the Ridge Lawn 3rd grade, we don't have the room to open up another classroom. So per the contract, in the classes that go over, we would add a paraprofessional in there to support during the whole day. Yes.
Is there a reason one has 30 and the other two have 20?
Yes, because we'll go up, instead of getting, like, if you're getting a paraprofessional, we're gonna go up to 30 in that class instead of like 29 and 29 and hiring 2. So if another one is added at this point, we would add that to one of the 28s. So we would try it. It would be 30 across the board before we even like entertain going any higher than that. So great question. We just have to approve furniture.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Abuzzer.
Aye.
Mrs. Perkins.
Aye.
Mrs. Petrafficus.
Aye, 8.7, potential board action to approve a 3-year contract with Vision 21 in the amount of $69,000 for Go Guardian.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mrs. Abuzzer.
Aye.
Mrs. Grow.
Aye.
Mrs. Perkins.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mrs. Petrafficus.
Aye. 8.8, potential board action to change the August 26th, 2025 study session to a special meeting.
And this is one we always have to change, just because there is so much personnel coming, in August. So we are gonna need to change that. The one thing that we've done the last couple of years that we won't have to adjust, in September, we've either rescheduled or canceled the study session. This year, we don't need to do that. They cut, my conference down in Springfield by a day this year, so I won't be heading down till, Wednesday morning. And we've actually invited Corey out already, to speak building project things for that study session, so.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Actually, Mr. Medina, in that second. Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mrs. Perkins.
Aye.
Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mrs. Abuzzer.
Aye.
Mrs. Grow.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Petrafficus.
Aye. 9.0 meeting report.
Before that, can I do 8.9? I have an other.
Oh, I thought that was the other, I apologize. Sorry, you didn't say you had another, I said no.
So I just wanted to point out, we have a new sign, when we go to our job fairs, our administrators go and try to recruit teachers. Many places have signs, and so we wanted to get one for a while. Megan's secretary Isabel, put this one together. And I will say, it was in my office, like rolled down when I got back from vacation, and I forgot there was a picture of me, and so when I opened it up, immediately saw me on this big blow up screen. I think it turned out really nice. It kind of grabs your attention, and it's really easy to put up and down. So we're excited to add that to our table full of swag that we bring everywhere we go. So
That's great,
Yeah.
nice job. All right, just kidding, 9.0 meeting reports. 9.1, other,
no,
10.0 informational.
Nothing.
10.1 other.
keep going.
11.0 opportunity for visitors to speak. All right, 12.0 president's prerogative. So I apologize for touching my phone at the beginning of the meeting, but per the norm, today was one of my first days back, not with kids, but I forgot my purse at home. So my husband was bringing it up and it's sitting in the hall. So that's why I was a little bit aloof in the beginning. I apologize for that. I thought I had lost it. But I would like to say good evening and thanks for all the admin who came. And I wanted to take this time to really address the staff who's rolling into the new school year. I put a lot of thought into what I wanted to say as I'm embarking on my new school year. I often think about forming all these new relationships and fostering them. It's hard to believe that the summer is already over. I felt like it went extremely fast, and I don't know if it's just because I was busy or if everyone felt it was so quick and hot, and it's still steamy out there. I think that I could speak for the board to say that we're all grateful that we have such an amazing team coming in. Everyone across the board, from teachers, admin, lunch hostesses, custodians, paras, you know, office clerical, everyone across the board. And if I miss someone, it's not on purpose. I forgot my purse, so but you know, I think that the teachers have a job of kind of fostering education. We're teaching English, math, science, social studies, art, music, PE, all these things, but I really was thinking about the relationships that are built. And I think about the relationships that I make with high school students, but you guys really do foundational work and almost parenting, if you will. And I wanted to share a little anecdote. It has happened many times, and I'm sure that Ms. Pyburn is not the only one. But often my son Joseph would accidentally call me Mrs. Pyburn. And I'd be like, "It's Mom, nice to meet you." And I feel like my daughter has done it, all of my kids have done it. And it was funny and I chuckled. And then I really was reflecting on it the other day. And I just think it's a testament that kids in our district go home and accidentally call their parents by their teacher's name, and probably vice versa in class. And it shows how safe these kids feel. that they're equating that the relationships they're forming with their classroom teachers, and not just classroom teachers, even crossing guards, anyone that they see as a mom, as a safe person, as a family member. And I just thought, I laughed about it when it happened a few times, but I really thought about the impact that we have on a daily basis, because it isn't all just about the education. Of course, that's paramount, okay? But the purpose of public school when it was first made was to create good citizens. How do we do that? By fostering an environment where people can trust each other, where they feel safe with each other, where they care about each other, where they'll have someone's back, where they'll be for them, where they show sympathy and empathy. And I think that when my kid calls me by his teacher's name, I feel like you guys are doing that kind of job there. You're parenting, you're being those touchstones to kids that they'll never forget, that they'll always remember throughout their life. I guarantee everyone in this room can remember a teacher who really meant something to them at some point, who was there for them at a hard time or there for them at a special time. And so going into this school year, this kind of little thing that maybe seemed like nothing or not a big deal, or you probably have a kid who accidentally calls your mom in class or dad or whatever, like what an impact you all have. Not just certified staff, but everyone in the building who interacts with these kids, who high fives them, who says good morning when maybe there aren't people who say good morning to them and ask them how their day was or how their weekend was or what they did over the summer. Those little relationships create that positivity in here. Yes, we want to make a passion for learning. Yes, we want to have kids thrive educationally, but they can't do that if they don't feel safe and have those other things. So going out into the new school year for everyone who's a part of the building, I just want to say on behalf of the board, we are so very, very proud to have you guys spending a huge part of our children's life with them and the whole communities. And so on behalf of the board, I just say thanks to all of the staff, all around everybody, for all you do, and I know that we all appreciate you, so I applaud everyone. Good luck on your school year.
Very much.
That's it.
It's a lot better than what I get to read now. All right, we are gonna adjourn to closed session for the purpose of discussion of employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, where legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony and complaint lodged against an employee of the public body, or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in the compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act cannot be closed and shall be open to the public, and posted and held in accordance with this act is defined in the Open Meetings Act, Section 2C1, the discussion of collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees as described in Section 2C2, the purchase or lease of real property for the use of the public body, including meetings held for the purpose of discussing whether a particular parcel should be acquired as defined in Section 2C5, the discussion of security measures and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actual, a threatened, or a reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, students, the staff, the public, or public property as defined in Section 2C8, the discussion of pending or probable and imminent litigation against, affecting, or on behalf of the district as defined in Section 2C11, and the discussion of minutes of prior meetings lawfully closed under the Open Meetings Act as defined in Section 2C21 for the purpose of review, approval, or release of such minutes. We will not be discussing any student discipline.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Mrs. Labonte.
Aye.
Mrs. Lammle.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder.
Aye.
Mrs. Bergen.
Aye.
Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye.
Alright. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So good to see everybody.
Yes, good luck.